Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and insert extraneous material on S. 2333.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, S. 2333, the Equal Pay for Team USA Act of 2022, is bipartisan legislation that would help ensure that all amateur athletes representing the United States in global athletic competitions, including the Olympics and Paralympics, are treated equally. Specifically, the bill requires all such athletes, regardless of gender, to receive equal compensation, medical care, travel arrangements, expense reimbursement, and other benefits. The bill also requires the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, as well as national sports governing bodies, to report annually to Congress on compliance and in collaboration with affected athletes to advocate before international sports federations to ensure equal prizes and other support for male and female athletes. While helping to ensure gender equality, the bill also carefully preserves the ability of athletes to accept outside sponsorships and endorsement deals and prizes, such as Olympic or Paralympic medals. It also clarifies that certain team members, such as team captains, may earn more than their teammates, and it allows the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and national sports governing bodies to provide more beneficial terms to the extent necessary to account for existing gender-based disparities. Female athletes competing on the world stage have suffered unequal treatment for far too long. Despite training and working just as tirelessly as their male counterparts, they often receive unequal benefits and compensation. This is unacceptable. Congress must not only be on record stating clearly that we as a nation value all members of Team USA, both women and men alike, but we must also take action to ensure just and equal treatment for all of our athletes, who repeatedly do our nation proud before the eyes of the world. I thank our colleagues, Senators Maria Cantwell, Shelley Moore Capito, Amy Klobuchar, and Cynthia Lummis, for shepherding this long overdue bill through the Senate, where it passed by voice vote. I also appreciate the leadership of Representatives Mikey Sherrill and Nancy Mace for bringing this measure forward in the House. I urge all members to support the bill, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
In 1894, the United States founded an organization that has since grown into the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee is tasked with organizing the participation of U.S. athletes in international amateur athletic events. In 1950, Congress granted the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee a federal charter under Title 36 of the U.S. Code. As a congressionally chartered organization, it takes an act of Congress to make changes to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee's charter. This bill would amend the bylaws for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and national governing bodies to require those entities to provide equal pay for male and female athletes who represent the U.S. in international amateur athletic events. This would include equal compensation, wages, benefits, medical care, travel arrangements, and reimbursement for expenses. Senate 2333 also requires the committee and national governing bodies to report annually to Congress on compliance with treating athletes equally. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from New York is recognized. Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I would just inform the House that we have no speakers on this topic, and we are ready to close at
we have no further speakers. We're ready to close.
Gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized to close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When both, I would like to let the gentleman from any, if there are no other speakers, I'd let the gentleman know that we are simply going to once again ask for support for the bill and would hope that the vote would take it up in a timely fashion. And I would reserve.
Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the Equal Pay for Team USA Act of 2022 is a targeted approach to addressing the disparities in treatment among women and men who represent the United States in global amateur athletic competitions. For this reason, the bill has the support of many organizations, including the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, U.S. Soccer, U.S. Squash, USA Curling, USA Volleyball, the Women's Basketball Coaches Association, the Women's Sports Foundation, the National Interscholastic Athletic Association, the National Women's Law Center, and the National Organization for Women. The way we treat our amateur women athletes is a reflection of our nation's values. Through their talents and hard work, these athletes showcase all that is best about America to the world. But all too often, they receive unequal pay or less favorable terms of employment merely because of their gender. It's time to correct this mistake and ensure that all American athletes competing on the world stage are treated fairly. I urge the House to pass the Equal Pay for Team USA Act, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back.